It's okay if you don't feel the same.
Well, welcome to part 2 of Traces. And while I am pretty packed in, I hope we get to unpack loads of this second part now, which is quite a lot. And, well, before we tackle actually everything, let's watch this.
I've been missing what we have. Now you're right here, but there's a fear you won't come back. Now I'm busy overthinking about a moment that hasn't passed. Let's raise the red flags high. Seems I have a little bit of trouble trusting people sometimes. Oh, my heart is paralyzed. I think it's time I try to open what's inside. Little by little, oh, 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 little by little. I swear I've seen this all before. I'm even higher now, so I'm scared to fall. And days
Good night. Well, good evening. I don't know, it's in the middle of the night actually. And yeah, as I'm recording. So, I'm sorry, we're not sitting over there tonight. We're sitting here on my bed because I'm going to sleep after doing this video. Let's talk about part 2 of the read-along today. There's a little bit of catch up to do. And I did some notes for this time so that I can retrieve everything to some degree. Before I actually get to the second part, what I forgot to say in part 1 is Layla, the sister of Jalila, I think that was her name, and the aunt of Gracie. And I need to say that, I need to point it out, I really love Layla. I know she's not a main character, she's not, but I really love how, even though she is possibly not a telepath, she is such a wonderful human being and has no problem of being so open about it. It's like the total contrast to Aiden. Well, I mean, Aiden learns to open up, but you know, it's just so fascinating to see that. And yeah, I really love Aiden and Layla's friendship, how it develops. Like, it is like Layla is a little bit of a storm coming in, sweeping you off your feet, but in a gentle way. And I really love that. I just really hope, and I kind of feel that Aiden learned at least a little bit from her to some degree. And I just hope she learns even more about how to be a little bit more open. That is everything I had to add for part 1, basically. I mean, it is kind of also part 2 because Layla is also just a key person in those chapters now in part 2. But let's dive really into the matter. So far, what I took notes of is Cole is learning German, which is really funny to me. I mean, apparently, if I read it correctly, he's not bad at learning languages. I mean, he speaks or learned apparently a lot of languages before. So we have English, French, Korean, Latin, possibly another one which I don't know. Oh, Spanish, I think that was one. And possibly more. And I mean, Aiden really pointed out, is there anything else you can do which could classify you as a hero? If I find the scene, I'll show you. Page 292 if you want to read along. He stares at the water, minutes washed away. I know Korean, for some reason. Fluently? He shrugs. And you don't remember learning that either? He shakes his head. Maybe it's a mother or father tongue. Not both, though. and maybe neither. He has a face that could blend in anywhere, only a shadow of what people expect to see. No one could second glance him. Except I do, constantly. Any other languages? No reaction means yes. Spanish? A shrug means yes as well. His shoulders don't come back down entirely. What else? I almost whisper. I disassemble. Disassemble what? He tucks his hands into his pockets. Broken things, motors, gadgets, firearms. And then? He looks at me like he doesn't understand the question. I put them back together. So they work. That's the idea. And you're sure you're not magical? Anything else? I can tie my own shoelaces. No way. That much to that. Yeah, Cole, you're secretly magical. Tell me that. Please. So, yeah, that is definitely a thing which stood out to me. Like, Cole knows a lot, even if he doesn't remember how he came to that knowledge. But it is incredible that one human can do so much, learn so much, remember by not remembering so much. It is a highly fascinating thing. But the thing about that he decided to learn German is maybe he's doing that for Aiden. You can interpret it already romantically if you want to, but for me at this point it's still more on a friendship basis. Maybe more in the way he is like trying to learn her language, which Aiden grew up quite a lot in America, but she's also been quite a lot in Germany. Her father is German, and she still remembers so much. And to some degree, I would say this is just him trying to connect to her in a way. This is like you just picking an interest, or not like picking an interest, but trying to understand this kind of interest of your friends. Even if it's not your favorite thing, maybe it's not, but you still try to understand, at least to the basis of it, why they might like it or why it is so important to them. I really, really, really like this. This is a small spoiler, but those two characters are also important for below. They get a little bit more spotlight in that volume, but in Traces it's mostly introductory. We get to know about Lawrence and Estelle. As we get to know, Lawrence is the mentor of Donovan, and to me it sounds like, even though Lawrence is like the teacher of Donovan, it seems, as far as I've read, like two old friends. They get along, but there's also still a little bit of things where both don't see eye to eye. And then we got Estelle French. Definitely a friend of Cole, but will she be a friend of Aiden? All I can say so far from reading, as you might have caught on as well, is that Aiden gets a little bit jealous of her. Aiden is a little bit in conflict with herself because to some degree she doesn't want to like Estelle because jealousy. But on the other hand, Estelle is also trying to be nice to Aiden. That also means that it is a little bit hard. So this is why I'm like, maybe Estelle could be a friend if you give her a chance. I don't know. So that is that much. They don't spend too much time in Toronto. They go back, and after that there are like a new training schedule. There's a new training schedule for Aiden, and one of the things which Aiden has to learn is basically swimming again, or more in the way of not needing to learn to swim again, but more of she has to somehow get back into the water, and it is a really tough thing. Gets back into the water thanks to Cole. Cole has a way of making Aiden feel safe. I think no one else has ever made her feel. And I think this is very, very important to notice. Even though Cole is not remembering a lot of his life, he has just this way with Aiden making her feel safe. Like, I think if there is something you could say, Cole is the first person she has ever felt safe with, because even though she lost her family has not supported her in the way she might have needed it. I don't know if I mentioned that in the first part, but to me it still feels like just Aiden has been severely neglected or tried to take all the responsibility, and whether it's really hard to just let go of that, because Aiden doesn't know any other way than doing this. So the next part is like there is more memory revealing to Cole, but this is what happens throughout the book anyways. I think this is also one of the key elements, that Cole gets to remember his past as much as it sucked. I mean, because honestly, that section was a little hefty, I'll give you that. We get to know that Cole previously was called Nicholas. No one ever called him Nicholas, please. It is a beautiful name, but in this book, it doesn't stand for something very nice. Cole is Cole. It's really hard to just like understand that there was a past, a very brutal past. And on the kind of nicer side, there is like this winter formal happening, and Cole invited Aiden in his way, in his own way. It is not like he's going up to Aiden and be like, hey, Aiden, do you want to go to a winter formal with me? No, it's more like really cutely with an origami cat. Like, there was like this flyer of the winter formal, and Cole made a cat out of that. Like, really delicate, even like somehow making the detail that there is a paw which like stretches out, and that, in my head, it was so freaking cute. And it's just the way he asks in a non-direct but a clearly for Aiden to understandable way of, hey, do you want to go to a winter formal with me? And that is super beautiful, because where's the next part? They go dress shopping. Of course, there has been some ups and downs between Aiden and Cole right now, previously, because of some things. But I think it is just not miscommunication. This is not a miscommunication trope here. No, it is more in the way of an under-communicated way, but mostly led from insecurities, especially on Aiden's side. So she and Layla go dress shopping, and Layla finds this really beautiful dress, and it's just like, hey, listen up here, my friend. I want to make this dress more beautiful for you so that it also fits you. I really like how it, and Aiden is like, wait, you would do this for me? And Layla's like, of course. And I'm just like, yeah, I really appreciate that as well, because again, I think Aiden found a really, really great friend in Layla. Also, there's this cute scene later on with Aiden and Cole in the snow, like a little bit of a snowball fight. And I mean, of course, when you get in, your clothes are soaked, and Aiden borrows stuff from Kara and then steals or Boris, better said, the hoodie from Cole. It's like his favorite hoodie, and he's like, sure, you can have that for now. And I'm just like Donovan even pointed it out, hey, it is his favorite, you should feel on it. And of course it's like, yeah, this happens. And we continue on with different scenes, and there's like this scene, I think Cole and Aiden were actually on their way to school. I think they had this really nice moment of like just bonding moment, and then there is a freaking phone call. It is really disturbing, this scene. And it's Ben, and Ben is like talking to Aiden, not just about her probably better choice in choosing psychology to study instead of special ed, and I'm just like, fuck you, Ben. Yeah, I'm just like, Ben, let your sister do her things, her decision, not yours, so shut up. But he's like talking about this organization, Chance for Future or something, and I'm just like, something doesn't seem right with this guy. Ben is so impressed of that professor he has, and I'm just like, there's something fishy about this guy. I mean, at first, when I really first read this book, I was like, it seems good, but it seems too good to be true. That is basically where it also ends, I think. Wait, let me check. No, it doesn't end very directly. There's another scene in the lab, or better said, in the storage room, because Cole has been remembering other things, but also just trying to deal with that in his own way, and he didn't want to bother Aiden, but Aiden is like, no, my friend, I'm here for you, I'm here with you, going through this moment. It is totally fine. And yeah, that's like, they are there for each other, and that's basically where it ends. This is basically where this scene ends, because Aiden is like taking the keys of Cole, and he's like, keys please, like she's like, keys please, friends don't let friends drive that, because Cole is pretty fatigued after that, and so Aiden is driving them, and that's where part 2 ends. So much to like getting kind of information back. The further we progress with the book, the more colorful it gets. I don't know if you can spot it, but it gets even more colorful. And if you see this above, the pink tabs are the parts. So this is like the part where we are going to be next time. This is part 3. The yellow tabs here, however, are references to the title or the titles of all 3 books, like Traces Below and Amber. I found more scenes just to love, or simply I have not marked previously, but I already liked, but I guess this time around it just spoke a little bit more to me. I think I mentioned before, the purple here are the quotes from Instagram. I have not found every one yet. I might need to have to go back to some scenes. Luckily, I remember slightly where they are. Or they are just yet to come. There are more to come in Below, for example. There are quotes from Below. There's also one quote from Amber. Ambers? Is the title plural or singular? I don't know anymore. But it's also late, so I don't blame myself for not knowing that for right now. Like, I'm pretty sure Sophie is going to post about that. I'm just going to note them down too. It's so fun because some of the scenes are even some I marked before when I first read them, and I was like, yeah, I really like that. And then to find out that your author friend is like, hey, I really like those scenes I've written too, and I think it is really nice, so I'm going to post it. And I'm just like, yeah. It is really fun. I generally think it is interesting to see what the author thinks of their own book. I mean, of course, there is always the constant thought of like, I could have done this better, I could have made that better. If I spend a little more time on that, I might have made that better. But to me as a reader, I'm just like, you did fantastic, my friend. You moved me in so many ways emotionally that I sometimes don't know, should I be laughing, should I be crying? And I mean that in a very positive sense, because it is a little bit of an up and down in this book between the entire scenes, like Aiden, Cole, because let's be real, those two kids do have, I mean, also Leela, Layla, and Gracie, they don't have it easy. And even though it's been a little bit rough, quite rough, for some of them, that there is always a little bit of hope. It's such a wonderful thing, and I really love that. It's just also picking up lighter parts, being like, hey, I know things have been rough, but there's always hope. There's a little bit of light on the horizon, so try to do that, try to follow that. So that is really, 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 really wonderful. I really, really love this book. Okay, this is really, really dear to my heart. It is one of my most read books. I mean, you can, I think I show this all the time, but you can really see how, I don't know if the light is picking it up, but the spine is also a little bit broken. It looks rough. Trust me, it does look rough, but I'm just like, it does the trick. I love that. I don't know. I kind of like this used book look. It just means the book has a little bit of an adventure on its own and not just the story in it. I mean, I still have a pristine version over there on my bookshelf with Sophie's signature. Next time we're going over part 3. Like, we're coming even closer to the ending of the book, and we will see so much what is going to happen. Things are going to take turns. There is going to be much more adventure. Secrets being revealed. Also, what is going on with Athena, the organization where Lawrence works for, Donovan works for, sort of-ish. And so much more. And the thing is, we jump from Traces over to Below, just a couple of days apart, and it is going to be so good. I promise. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next part. Anyways, good night.